Hello everyone and welcome to episode 2 of BiCo SMP. In this episode, we're going to be fighting the Ender Dragon. We're going to be doing it together and it's probably not going to be as amazing as you'd think. And that's actually already happened, which is why I have this Ender chest and why I have this Elytra. So without further ado, I'm just going to play the clip and then we're going to be going on, and the end game will begin from here. So go enjoy this mass editing that I had to go through.
Alright, so we are here and we are about to do the dragon fight with, going through the cursed portal and all.
Oh yeah,
so
I just need to double show this off before we do this. Yeah, so there's 10 Eyes of Ender already in it, and there's already lit. We didn't do that, by the way. That was how it generated.
Yeah, this is so glitchy. I don't know what happened here. I think it's the update to 1.20.1. Now, Paper and I are here, and Alexa, like the total idiot he is, decided to go in before us, so he's already in the end. Let's go.
All right.
There's nothing I can do about it.
I'm honestly surprised there was no person.
Oh, GG.
Where's the entrance to the end?
I'm probably going to head back and do something with the end, because I want to go get Elytra now.
Well, stay back for a second, because we need to talk about how end busting is going to work this season.
Oh dear, there's rules.
A bit differently. So, we haven't really explained this to the audience as such yet, but this season we're kind of going with a whole economy type thing. That's why we've got the whole shopping district and everything at spawn, and I want to build a town hall at some point, and that's going to be a whole thing. But if we're forming some kind of government, what do governments love? Anyone?
Bureaucracy?
Taxes?
That's right, taxes. So we are putting a tax on end busting this season, which will essentially work. You have to pay for the time you spend end busting. So I trial run, I'm gonna do 1 diamond for every half an hour end busting. So
Can I pay back later so I don't have to go back to the overworld?
you can pay me. Okay, I'll put an extra diamond in there for you. You have 30 minutes.
Okay.
You owe me a diamond. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do.
So
Wait,
who came up with this amazing idea, Axolotl and Aleksa? I mean,
I did.
I literally sent you the end expeditions. okay, you did. Yeah, you're the mastermind behind it all.
Correct. Okay.
Then
So-
shoot me, I'm gonna perish.
Alexa, you wanna go ender busting? Yep. I'll get my phone out. I'll put a timer on my phone for you.
I'm going to go back to the overworld and grab my diamonds, and then I'll also head end busting. For the sake of my viewers, I'm going to find... Now, I'm going to have a timer in the bottom left corner of my screen for my viewers. And that means that everyone will be able to tell exactly how long I've spent in the end. In end busting, I guess. Okay. Right, I've just got to remember to mention that I've put my diamond in. I am entering the portal. Time starts now. I'm going to head southwest. Oh, see one.
Nice. Is that a ship?
Does it have a ship? Good question. I don't think it does. Although, maybe? I can't tell. Doesn't look like it.
Okay.
Oh, no, it does. It does have a ship. Nice.
Ah, cool.
Alright, I got the dragon head, so I've actually got the most important part of the entire thing. Try to fly in. Okay, well that concludes end busting number 1, and I think I went ever so slightly over my time limit. So, over here at the villager hole, I managed to get my Elytra, now all repaired. It now has all the durability I'll ever need on it, and Axolotl is AFK over here, which will probably mess with soonish. However, that's not the only thing I need to do over here. I now need to consider, well, where am I going to get all this paper? Where am I going to get all the gunpowder? Now, the gunpowder is a little more tricky to solve, although considering the amount of stone I've mined between episodes, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. And I'll explain why in just a second. So I did some mining off camera and I got myself a fair amount of resources. Now, on this world, because of the way it's generated, effectively, if I go down to y=11 down here, diamond generation is like it was before 1.17, 1.18, where suddenly all the diamonds were down there at the bottom of the world. To actually get the ores I needed, all I needed to do was go to y=11 and do some classical mining. So I have done a fair bit of that. And that's why I have all of those natural ores and not any of the deep slate ones. Unfortunately, there's no copper under that level, so I can't get copper from that, and I actually am fairly broke on that, which is unfortunate because I would love to build with copper, but that will have to suffice later on when I eventually go on a copper mining session. But yeah, so that's not the only thing I want to do this episode. You might have also noticed that if I go back down again, that I have dug out this space here. This is going to be my little chamber sort of thing where I'm going to have all of my starter farms, because the tent up there is great, but it's not perfect. And I need to design a couple things. First thing being a little secret entrance thing I can do to make it so that I can get down. So I suppose I'm going to have to log off the server and think about doing that. Right, so I've now got an idea of what this room's going to look like. It might be a bit noisy with what I've gone for, but hopefully it should look all good. So I'm going to go gather those materials, get it all set up, and we should have a lovely looking room in a bit. So I'll see you when I've built the walls. So I've put up these walls here, and I've got to say the quartz and stone brick I really quite like. So in terms of where we're going to have farms in here, I'm thinking I'll maybe bring the wall up a bit closer on the corners, then have the farms in like little rooms here. Maybe knock out the walls, bring it out. It's sort of like a little thing where you can see inside, and it will only be like micro farms. It won't be like massive industrial complexes that we're building here, but there's just little things that I can use that will be very useful for getting started in the early games. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to designate this back row here, just behind when we fall down. I'm going to dedicate this wall to a sugarcane farm, and then I'm thinking 2 melon farms in the corner. So I think it's time to knock this out, and maybe this will be in the form of a time-lapse. So let's go. So here we are. The farm is now built. I'll now have an infinite supply of sugarcane going straight into this chest. That's all very well and good. I think it fits right in there. I really like how when I've got this area all finalized and there's more farms in these little alcoves areas, I think it's going to look pretty cool. But now I think it's on to the next job, which is to get a roof in, get a better floor in, because I have some ideas for the floor that involve it not being stone. So maybe I will do that, and I'll see you guys all in a moment. Alrighty, there we are. After the time lapse you just saw, I also added in this floor here. So there's a nice circular area. I haven't added any of the other farms in yet because I'm sort of holding off on that, because there is something else I must show you outside. Axolotl has been busy, and while I was doing other things, they've started on the creeper farm. Now, I think I sort of glossed over this detail earlier in the video because I was sort of doing other things and not really talking about what we were doing, but Axolotl had DM'd me and we were talking about making a collaborative creeper farm, and it looks like they've used the resources because most of the stuff that I had gathered and put in here has now all been put away into that building. So that's really great to see. But now I've fallen in a hole. Help. But now I'm not really sure what to do for the rest of this episode. I was sort of planning on doing a bunch of building, maybe getting all of that area done. That was going to be a big whole thing. But to be honest, considering that a lot of my footage has been a pain to make over the past week or so, it's been really tricky to get actual content. So I don't want to sign off the video here. So I think what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to start laying out the area for where my base is going to be. Now, I say my base. It's not really my base. My plan for my base this season, which I've been thinking about on and off through this week, has mainly been just a functional area. So it'll have a mob farm, it'll have an iron farm, it'll have kelp farms, it'll have all those sorts of farms. It won't be in the sense of having a base for aesthetic purposes. It will be purely functional. I may want to make an aesthetic base later on in the season, but at the moment I've really struggled to find ideas for the way I want to build bases. So I'm sort of having to consider that while I'm doing things, and I think I'm probably just going to have to be honest with myself and just find a location and do that, because I'm really interested in the, I suppose not necessarily the idea, but the way of playing an entire season where I just build farms and I don't spend time building stuff like this, because Axolotl is an amazing builder, but since a lot of their work is in like Matica, for me to replicate stuff like this, it would take a lot longer. And while I'm sure that maybe if I learned the skills, I could definitely do it, I'm not one for cranking out a massive build project in one episode. Ignore the times I've done that. But anyway, my plan is sort of just make a functional area, have that part of the, or have that be the base, and then everything else from that will just be extra stuff, because I have some ideas and I definitely want to get into the shops. So yeah, I guess that's just sort of my ramble over. I will, I'll get back to probably doing some resources grind, and I'll also go see you guys over on my little backup of the world so we can go and view some locations that I've been thinking about. Right, I've picked out a space where I want my base to be. This, or I guess my district to be. Over there in the distance is my little marker for where my starter area was, and right here is where I want my future base to be. This will be a massive perimeter. In fact, I'll go on to my creative world and just show you what I mean by massive. So right here, as the chunks load in around me, is a visual representation of the server itself and how big I want this perimeter to be. In an ideal world, it would go off in those corners, but I think if I was to dig this out, or I suppose even if I just left it with this and just marked the perimeter, that would be a very large and a very good to work with perimeter. So I'm just going to try and figure out, is it 2 block or 3 block center? Because I don't actually know this. Right, after far too much effort, I actually figured out, yes, it is a 1 block center. So I have no worries there. So the way I'm thinking of doing this is I have a center, which is sort of like a control room that will lead off to every farm in that perimeter area. And each of those farms will be able to be toggleable, as I said. And I don't want to chunk load it, because I think chunk loading it would be a problem for anyone that wants to use the server. But I definitely think this area will have a lot of farms. So I'm probably going to be infamous for lag very shortly. So yeah, I'm going to hop back onto the server, and now I suppose we shall get on with finishing out making our starter area. And there we have it. It took a bit of grinding to do, but now the starter base is, well, pretty much complete. These are my starter farms. The only thing I need to do now is set up that entrance that I've been teasing. And frankly, the design is so simple. It's quite ridiculous that I haven't set it up yet. But I need slime, and getting slime at the moment is pretty tricky. So I might have to put that off for later. So as for now, I'm really not quite sure what else to do. So I think I'm going to leave it there. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy it, please sure to hit that like button. If you really enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe. I'm sorry to people that were watching that wanted to see a video appear more recently. I kind of fell off last week with making any sort of progress on the server, so actually doing things has been a bit tricky to do, but hopefully I can get a collab with Axolotl for the start of the next episode. And of course, in episode 3, I hope to do a lot with getting my base set up, starting to get more farms in, and a lot more can happen because I've been trying to be pretty conservative with my rocket use, and it's not really worked out for me, and I want to get things like beacons and so forth. So yeah, there's a lot in the works, and I'm really excited to get to that stuff. But thanks so much for watching, guys. I do hope that you'll see me in the next video. So yeah, farewell.